Hello Year 3 and 4, this is your Tuesday maths lesson and today we are looking at angles. So hopefully you can see the screen up, okay, and it's telling us about an angle. So an angle is made when two straight lines meet at a point and we call that point a vertex. Okay, so an angle is made, so any straight lines, they could make any sort of angle like this. And angles are measured in degrees and it's shown using this symbol here that you can see at the bottom. Okay, and angles are all around you. So if you look around your house now, you'll see lots of places where straight lines are making a point and that is an angle. So you can see it on your walls, okay, on furniture. So have a quick look around now and see if you can see any. So a good example they've shown us there is a clock, okay, because we've got arms, hands on the clock that are meeting at a point. Okay, and it's given us the first example of an angle there. So it's saying that when the clock is at 3 o'clock, the arms are in a right angle. So let's have a little bit more of a look at right angles. Okay, so a right angle, okay, is, so remember we said it's angles are measured in degrees. So a right angle is 90 degrees. And there are lots of right angles. So again, if you look at your furniture, for example, so if you've got a furniture unit or a TV unit, you will notice that they sort of meet at a point like this, or a bookcase. Okay, so see if you can make a right angle with your hands now, like I am. Okay, so it meets at that 90-degree point. And when you see a right angle in your maths work, it's often, not always, but often identified with a square like this. So it shows you that this angle where these two lines are meeting, they've met at the vertex, the point, and they have made a right angle. Okay, now we're not going to worry about protractors, so measuring our angles, but this is just to show you how you would measure the angle. But there are ways that we can measure our angles. Okay, and a right angle can easily be identified by using the corner, the sharp point of a piece of paper. Okay, and I know you all have paper at home. Okay, so this is a really easy way to have a right angle finder. I have put some that look like this Pac-Man onto the website, so if you have got a printer at home, you're more than welcome to print one of these off, but I'm going to be showing you with a piece of paper because I know everybody will have that whether you're in school or at home. Okay, and we can use the paper to help us identify those angles. Now I'm just going to make sure I've got a piece of paper for the next slide so I can show you. Okay, so I've got two angles here and I'm going to use my piece of paper, my right angle finder, to find out if they are definitely right angles. Okay, so I'm going to place my piece of paper over the top and I can see there, okay, in fact I'm just going to see the colour difference. Okay, so you can see straight away that my piece of paper slots very nicely inside that angle. I can see each line and the vertex, the point, so that one is a right angle. Now right angles aren't always at a point like this. It won't always look like a square. It might look like this one, for example. So I might have to turn my piece of paper around and just have a little shuffle to make sure that I run it along one of the arms, one of the lines, and it goes up the other side and it has made a right angle. So right angles aren't always like this. Okay, they might be this way up. So you can use your piece of paper to help you find. Okay, so you get yourself a piece of paper now. I'm going to have a look at some shapes on the next page and we're going to see how many right angles are there. Okay, so get your piece of paper. I'm going to get mine from this page. This one. Okay, and I want you to, with your piece of paper, see if you can identify how many right angles are in these shapes. So you can put your piece of paper up to the screen. Okay, like this. So I'm going to put my one here. Yes, I can definitely see one right angle there. And I'm going to identify it, like I said, with that square. I'm going to have a look at this one in the top corner. Yep, I can see the two lines are running along my piece of paper. Okay, so that one's a right angle as well. Now I'm going to have a look at this one here and try and decide if that's a right angle. So I'm going to run my piece of paper along that line, and I can see this one is bigger than a right angle. So that one's not a right angle. I'm going to do the same with this one down here. I'm going to run it along the bottom line, and I can see that that angle goes inside. So it is smaller than a right angle. Okay, so I want you to pause the video here and have a go at the rest of these shapes with your piece of paper, and then we'll move on to the next one to have a look at those together. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at that. We're just going to have a look at these ones together as well, because your task today for year 3 children, your task today is you are going to be deciding whether some angles are right angles or whether they're bigger than a right angle or smaller than a right angle. Okay, so remember you're going to need your piece of paper, your right angle finder if you have one, and you're going to use that to find these angles. So I'm going to have a look at this one here to begin with. So I'm going to run my piece of paper along one of the lines, and I'm going to see if it measures up with the other one, and it does. So that one is a right angle. Okay, let's have a look at this one down here. Need my piece of paper to be on top. There we go. Okay, so we're going to look at this one here. I'm going to run my piece of paper along one of the lines, so it runs along here, and I can see that the other line that makes the point is running underneath the piece of paper, so it is smaller than a right angle, and you can see that. So if I was making the angle here, it's smaller, so it's smaller excuse me, than the right angle. And then last one here. Okay, so I get my piece of paper, and you'll find this easier to do on your paper. So it runs alongside that line. Okay, and then the other line isn't running up this side of my piece of paper, it is bigger than a right angle. Okay, so again, have a go at making one of those with your hand. So make yourself a right angle, and this one's like this, it is bigger than a right angle. So year 3 children, that's your task today. Excuse me, your task today. You're going to go and identify whether the angles on your task are right angles, bigger than a right angle, or smaller than a right angle. Okay, so if you are year 3, I'd like to go off now and have a go at your task. Right, so we should have year 4 left now, and we are doing a very similar task, but you are going to learn the names of those angles, the angles that are bigger than a right angle and those angles that are smaller. So we're starting with the angles that are smaller than a right angle. So if you remember our page from the beginning, our right angle was here for 90 degrees. So an acute angle is anything that is less than 90. And the easy way to remember these is, if you think of the word cute, it makes you think of something little and small. So an acute angle, it's cute because it's smaller. Okay, and you can use your right angle measure exactly the same as we did before. So you run it along one of the lines, and you can see the other line, the other arm of this angle would be underneath the piece of paper. Okay, so when an angle is smaller than a right angle, have a go at making one with your hands now. We call it acute. Remember that you can think of it, oh, it's a little cute angle. Okay, and then the one that is bigger, so if an angle is bigger than a right angle, so again, a right angle is 90, so an obtuse angle, this is what it's called, obtuse, so it's bigger than 90, but smaller than 180. So 180 would be a straight line. Okay, so it's anything that's between a right angle, any of these angles, and we would call it obtuse. And you can remember that with like obtuse, it's a big angle. Okay, and again, you can measure those with your piece of paper. So you're going to place it along one of the lines. Okay, and you can see there, it is bigger than a right angle, so we would call that obtuse. Okay, so you've got a similar task now to go and have a go at, but you need to label whether they are right angles, obtuse angles, or acute angles. So you're not just writing bigger or smaller, I want you to use that technical vocabulary. Okay, and then you've got a challenge to move on to as well, linked with those angles. So you can always watch this video again if you'd like to, but go and have a go at your task, and I look forward to seeing how you get on. Bye guys!